The day drink discussions. What's
Day,
new?
day drink.
Hey, speaking of day drink, I've had one beer in a month, and I was drinking like 2 30 packs a week.
I had a smoothie this morning trying to be healthy.
I got milk.
Yeah,
Do I
so
say milk here?
milk?
Yeah, milk.
No, it sound like milk.
All
Have
right.
you ever seen that Julian Smith Malk video? Malk.
We went it for the
Yeah, we did do that. Yeah, I forgot about that.
yeah.
Yeah, I love that video. Saw this short the other night. Almost made me cry. I was feeling good and nice on Delta 8. And I was watching my YouTube shorts. And I ran across this one. Keanu Reeves was on one of the late night TV shows recently. And he asked him, Keanu, so what do you think happens when we die? And he says, one thing I know is the people that loved us will miss us.
He ain't lying.
And I was like, that's the best answer I've ever heard. I love that.
It's the truth. And it's like we were just talking about backslide. It's like, you commit suicide. You may think about it or may not think about it, but it's like you got a lot of people that's gonna fuck up. And it's like, I don't remember where I heard it, but someone said that's what stopped them from killing themselves. They were like, if I knew that people wouldn't give a fuck, I was done. I was gone. It was like, I kept thinking about the people that I'm gonna fuck up if I do this.
Mm.
That's the truth though. But yeah, I like that. What we were talking about before was alcohol delivery. So they
Have you
just
tried that?
made it.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, they just made it legal in Georgia last year that you can actually get alcohol delivered, but like from DoorDash or Uber Eats or whatever. But no, I think Tech Nine he came out with an alcohol or a beer, and I couldn't find it anywhere. But you can get it delivered to you as long as your state allows for it. And someone just messaged me. Did you message someone? Oh no. Oh shit, that's fucking the Callous Daoboys.
Oh, what's up, Callous Daoboys? I
He
love
just
that.
said,
I love that name.
dude, so good.
I've, I actually haven't listened to them yet, but even when I heard about the name, I was like, dude, that's a badass name.
Yes.
Callous Daoboys.
Yeah, I used to do this thing where I would post every Monday underground music that most people probably didn't know. I'd post on my Snapchat. And I'd post about 10 artists a day and I'd post a little sample of their song. And my homie Matt reached out and was like, hey, have you heard of the Callous Daoboys? I think you'll like them. I was like, I'll check them out. And I was like, bruh, I've been listening to them the past 3 days, man. They're good.
And they're from Atlanta too, also, right?
I know it's Georgia. I don't know if it's Atlanta.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, if you're not from Georgia, and even if you are, everything's Atlanta. People are like, oh,
Everything's
where are you from?
yeah.
Like, even if you don't say I'm from Atlanta, I'm always like, oh, yeah, about 45 miles from Atlanta. Yeah,
Exactly.
because if you don't say, they're like, where the fuck is Gainesville? It's like you asked. Like
Right,
if you don't
right.
know Georgia intimately, well, like if someone's like, oh yeah, I'm from Alabama, I'm not asking.
No.
I know 3 cities.
What I would say is, are you by a major city that I would know?
Yeah.
Or what's the closest major city around you that I would know?
Okay, I like that response, but yeah, I'm not asking because I don't know your state.
Exactly.
I really don't know any state other than Georgia, like the north half of it. Because I live in South Carolina, I still get lost in Charleston.
Yeah, because even if someone's like says, I'm from California, I'll be like, oh, where from? San Francisco. I know what San Francisco is, but I can't point on the map immediately.
No, I have no idea where it's at.
Yeah. It doesn't benefit me to know, like I can tell you where Los Angeles is, but any other bit, Oakland, Watts, I don't know where those places are.
Yeah, I can't even point out LA. I don't have a fucking clue.
It's right there. It's where it's at.
Then when people like I meet people at work a lot of times from Georgia, and it's usually either near Augusta or like always South Georgia. No one from North Georgia. And oh yeah, I'm from Georgia. I'm from here. I'm like, oh yeah, that's in this area. And they're like, is that close to? Nope. I'm north of Atlanta. You're way southwest of Atlanta. Like nowhere near one another. 2
That's
hour
the only
drive.
that's the only places where you can't really claim Atlanta. Like I remember even when I called the Kenny Burns show up, Kenny Burns, is that his name? Lifetimes, yeah, Kenny Burns on V103. Even when I called in on him, I said Metro Atlanta just because I was like, everyone may not know Gainesville, and if anyone does hear me and says I'm from Atlanta, they're gonna be like, Nick, you ain't from Atlanta. But I said
Right.
Metro Atlanta, and he didn't hear the Metro. He's like, I ain't Nathaniel from Atlanta. What you calling in for? Man, my brother and I have this podcast, man, trying to get it off the ground, man. You got any advice?
Plant that seed, let it grow.
You need to invest in you.
Gonna be like Jack and the Magic Bean. Gonna have that big beanstalk. Speaking of
But
plants, I'm really enjoying plants. You know what cilantro is, right? Yeah, you fuck with Mexican food. So Wendy grew cilantro, and it tastes really good. But I'm lazy, so I don't go out there and clip it every day. So it does what is called bolting, and it blooms. Dude, this I don't know if it's gonna translate to camera, but the white flowers on this thing are beautiful.
oh yeah.
Yeah, that's cilantro when it blooms. Really cool.
So excuse me. So do do you want it to bloom? Like, what are those white flowers for?
Well, I mean, it's just a plant. Like anything's a plant. And a lot of herbs will do that. If you don't pick them when they need to be picked, they bolt and they grow up real fast and real tall, and they end up tasting like shit. Like if I were to cut anything off of this, it would not taste good at all.
So it looks cool, but it has no nutritional value.
No, that's not good for eating.
Because I was about to say I have a basil plant. I didn't grow it; it was already grown, but it's a basil plant. And I was like, if flowers started growing out of it, I'd be mad. Like, no, I want the basil, not the flower.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's why she planted cilantro. I used it several times. I used it in omelets. I made my own pico de gallo. Used it in guacamole one time. Good stuff. But I don't clip it every day because I don't use it all the time. And if you don't clip it and you just let it grows, it does what flowers do.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So is when you do it the right way and you've used it, is it more dry or is it wet? Because you buy it from the store, man, that shit's wet as fuck. I don't like how wet it is.
That's just a condensation from their refrigeration units.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
y'all's is dry because you don't put it in the refrigerator.
Yeah, correct.
Man, I would love that so much more because I like the taste of cilantro, but I don't want juice squirting in my mouth if I get too much cilantro in the bite.
Dude, herb gardens are real easy. I mean, get you a decent sized pot, get you some potting soil. Make sure you want to get a pot that has a drainage. That way it won't drown the roots and kill them. And herbs are real easy to grow. Like, it's hard to fuck up a herb.
And even if you do fuck it up, how much money did it cost?
Yeah, nothing really.
Right. Just a little time and effort that you fucked up somehow and then you gotta do it again.
Yeah, most of them can handle indirect light, so sometimes you don't even have to have them outside. So if you have a window, well, it's like your room gets a lot of light. So I mean, you could put like a side end table by the window and probably even grow it right there.
Now that's how the basil is, but because you can do it indoor, and that's what I did, but it's dying. But no, there's not really good light in this house. There's good light, but like there's no window sills you can put it on, and if you put it by the window, the light it'll hit it for like what an hour or two a day, hour or three a day, and it's pretty much like that everywhere. But the kitchen, so the back window, it's a sliding glass door, so sun kind of gets in there, but there's so many trees that it's shaded, so it's like indoor is not really the best place if it can use indirect light. I'm upset that my my aux cord's fucked up because my video quality so much better. My audio quality trash. I'd rather have good audio and not as good video. Are you not gonna say anything? Hello?
I was
I got
channeling my inner Deontay Wilder.
Oh, okay, gotcha,
And
gotcha.
Tyson Fury's gonna fuck him up in July.
Think he is, man.
Like he's already beat him at the press. He beat his coach at the press conference. I was like, Coach, stop talking, Coach. You're feeding right into the game. Stop talking, Coach.
I was about to say Deontay Wilder should have tapped him and said, "Bruh, shut up." But he had those headphones on. He couldn't. He couldn't hear anything.
You think he is actually listening to something in his beats, or you think he was just hammering for show?
I was going to sleep when I was listening to it, so I don't know if I dreamed or I really heard it. But I was listening to an interview of Tyson Fury, and he's like, "Yeah, he was listening to fucking classical music, some Mozart or Beethoven or some shit." Because I guess he could hear it as close as he was.
No, I've actually heard that because one thing that classical music has been known for is lowering blood pressure, heart rate, and giving you a sense of calmness. And that some boxers have been trained to it. Like, so when they're sparring or doing drills, the coach will have classical music over like the loudspeakers, and then they even walk out to the shit. And I can't remember. There's somebody that does that now. Who does that? It was a few years ago because I heard about this story, and it wasn't like an old story that they were telling. Like, somebody actually did it, and he walks out to classical music. It's either boxing or it was MMA. No, it's it's a fucking movie. You ever seen that movie Fighter with Tom Hardy?
I know what it is, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, I don't even know that shit's real. I got that from a movie. Oh, I mean, it's a good concept though. If you fighters out there like real nervous and anxious, like maybe you should listen to some Beethoven or something. I don't know.
Either do that, and I don't know how many times Mike Tyson did it. I don't know if it was a staple or if it's just something he did a couple times, but I know he came out to just like one note being played, and it's like an eerie note. And it's like, just think you're about to fight this beast, and all you hear is this, and he's coming out, black shorts, no socks, no robe, already sweaty.
Yesterday, I rewatched his post-fight interview with Lennox Lewis when Lennox beat him, and Mike just goes off. They're like, "Man, Mike, how's it feel having such a disappointing loss after training for this fight?" Training? I didn't fucking train for this fight. This was a quick notice fight. I trained for like 2 or 3 weeks. I'm so much better than Lennox. Blah blah blah. This blah blah blah. I'll eat his babies. And I'm like, whoa, that's so crazy. I don't think I've ever seen him say that. I've only read it or seen it in memes. So like to hear him angrily say that, and the dude owns tigers, is like something's wrong with him.
The first time I watched it was Lil Wayne has a freestyle. I think it's like Tyson Flow or some shit, and it just has different Tyson excerpts throughout it. But that's how it starts off: is "I'll eat his kids. I'll blah blah blah. Praise be to Allah." And I'm just like, I was like, this is good, you know, because it's Wayne. And I was like, wait a minute, let me go look this up. And I'm like, oh my God. Even like the whole interview, it's just like, and you can tell like his eyes, bro, like he means what he's saying. His eyebrows are doing this.
Yeah, I sent you that meme where someone claimed that he quoted, what did it say? "These boxers today are businessmen. I was a killer."
Yo.
And you were like, I hope he actually said that. I was like, me too.
Right.
Yeah, Tyson's wild. But
He
I
is,
like
man.
I like who he is now, where he is starting to be a little bit more humble and a little bit more empathetic, and trying to be introspective and sharing that with the world through his podcasting and his recent interviews.
I love it too. It's so crazy to see it, so wild, you know, like just seeing his transformation and like getting to see it from the beginning. I didn't watch all of his demise and all of his troubles and drama that was going on with him. So I kind of came in when he started getting his shit together, when he got into the Toad and all that, and how it changes his life. And it's just like, man. And like, you can't cancel Mike. I feel like he's gonna, because he speaks so much from the heart. I feel like he's gonna say something on his podcast, and I don't know. He probably has so many people in his head now. It's like, yeah, we're gonna take that part out, Mike. You know, but I could see Mike trying. You know, people trying to cancel Mike for saying some shit, but it's like he speaks from the heart, man. Let him speak.
And I think America as a culture likes to hear Mike Tyson speak anyways.
Yeah, we like to hear
he was like saying crazy shit. It's probably like, oh, but it's Mike Tyson though.
Yeah, Kanye didn't get that pass. He dug
Man,
his hole too deep.
so I was watching YouTube Shorts once again, and one came on the other day of him when he did that to Taylor Swift, I think, at the Grammys. Like, hold
Mm.
up, Taylor. Give me 1 second. Like, your shit was really nice, but Beyonce had the album of the year. It's like, whoa, that's so crazy.
Man,
And man, I
that
just
was
feel bad. I feel bad for him at times because he definitely has a mental illness that's not being treated very healthily.
exactly. And I mean, what, bruh? Taylor Swift was a nobody. That moment right there made like blew her up, you know. But what gets into someone's head besides a bottle of Hennessy or something? That's like, let me go up on stage and ruin this girl's probably biggest moment of her life yet. Let me just completely shit on it.
Yeah, that was so fucked up.
But what's crazy about it is he didn't make it about him. He didn't say I had the best. He was like, no, I'm defending my friend. And Beyonce's just like, oh my God. Poor
Man,
Kanye, man. We're laughing
I
about it,
hope
but
Kanye get. I hope Kanye gets some help.
him and Bam Margera. Because I love both of them, you know. But I heard Steve-O talking about it, I think last week about Bam, you know, speaking openly about it, like, we've tried so much, man. He was like, we're there for him, whether he feels like it or not. But he was like, it's hard to make someone do something if they don't want to do it, you know.
Yeah, and I'm gonna use this term loosely because artistic genius is definitely on a spectrum. But I think with any stroke of artistic genius comes some craziness and madness along with it too.
And then add a shit ton of money at an early age.
Yeah,
So then
and
you
people
have
that
yes
won't tell you no.
yeah, it's I was watching God, who was that girl on Joe Rogan? It wasn't Miley Cyrus, it was I think it was Demi Lovato. Demi Lovato fucking she was saying like how the mom daughter relationship was so weird because her mom would be like, hey, you can't do this. And she's like, I pay the bills around here. And it's like, you know?
Yeah, so parents watch what you say when they're 5. They might end up being Demi Lovato.
Exactly. Yeah, man. So I don't know. And then you have yes men around you at an early age that, yeah, you know, kissing your ass and you have all that money. And then you have mental health that went untreated or addiction, whatever it is. And it's just like, what do you do?
Yeah. And then almost sometimes they force the culture of yes men because I don't want to put words in Miley Cyrus's mouth. Not that she'd ever know that I did, but but at the same time, when she was on Rogan, I think she said something to the effect of, "But I'm Miley Cyrus, like I'm their boss. Like I almost pay them to tell me yes. Like if they tell me
Yeah,
no and I don't want to hear, it's like, well, fuck you. You're fired. I go find somebody else."
exactly. Yeah, it's a strange predicament to be in. That's why
Predicament.
I'm
I love
glad
that word.
huh?
You just said predicament. I love that word.
Oh, yeah. But I'm glad I didn't run into a lot of money at an early age. I'm glad my money's gonna come later in life because I would have fucked it off. I would have bought so much dumb shit.
And dude, the idea I like is of late bloomers, like when it comes to finding their gift and running with it, and whether that means finances or not, doesn't matter to me. The only stories we hear about though are the financial ones because they sell newspapers. But like Samuel L. Jackson, what he didn't have his first big role until he was in his mid-40s.
Right.
Colonel Sanders didn't come up with the recipe for KFC until like he was in his 60s. And one that was even interesting to me, I know you're like, God, leave this dude alone, but you need to stop sleeping on Gary Vee.
Oh my God, I
He
knew
didn't
it
start
was
his own business until he was 34. I didn't know that. Because I knew he did all his stuff for his parents, but I didn't realize he waited so late in life to start his own business. So, I mean, people coming into whatever their gift is later in life, I think that's super cool.
now it's beautiful.
And then people knowing exactly what they want to do when they're 12. I think that's super cool too. I think life is just kind of super cool.
You want to know what I've been thinking about that I don't think is super cool is professional athletes. Like, bruh, they are some of the strongest, most agile, most quickest healing, most superhuman people on earth. But they're the ones that's going to be broken down at an early age because they put so much wear and tear on their body. And it's like, that's sad. Like, yeah, Michael Jordan still gets up and plays golf, but there's so many of them out there that are just broken down because they put so much into their craft for so long.
Yeah, that does suck. But at the same time, they chose it having had to have thought about that. And they didn't think about it. Sometimes in life you're short-sighted and you just don't think about the consequence of something you're doing, good or bad at the time.
And that's what also sucks about it is I feel like a lot of people get into a sport for the love of it. And once they make it to such a big level, it becomes about the money because they reach a dark place or they had an accountant that stole a lot of money from them, or they have more kids now. So they feel like they have to continue that sport for as long as possible. And it's like, so it's almost like they are forcing themselves. Like they don't want to be in that cage. They don't want to be on that field or court, but they got bills to pay. That's a really sad story.
Yeah, for real.
And the UFC is getting harder and harder for me to watch because dumb shit's been happening. So the fight night or the last pay-per-view that you didn't see all of it, you just saw Adesanya. Fucking man, I don't remember the fighters. It was a white and black dude, and white dude pulls guard and gets him in an arm triangle, or gets him in a triangle, but then gets him in an arm bar, and he didn't tap. And he let go of the arm bar and he has his head in a triangle and he's just beating the shit out of his head. But his fucking arms is doing this, bruh. It is flopping. And they're yelling to stop the fight. And then the ref finally stops in and stops the fight. And dude just gets up and his fucking arm is limp. Thought it was broken. Everyone thought it was broken. But ended up just being dislocated. They popped it back in and the fight was over, of course. Didn't get to see it get popped in. It was backstage, but it's just like that happened. And then last night, this Asian girl got an arm bar, didn't tap. And the rest of the second round, she couldn't use her left arm. She was just holding it up. So she is getting demolished. And then Chris Tayani goes to the doctor and says, hey, check her arm out. He's like, yeah, it's broke. And I'm like, bruh, this sport's getting too real for me, man.
There's been a lot of broken bones. Those broken legs. Chris Weidman broke his. That other dude got disqualified because he couldn't stand up because his leg was so beat up.
Yeah. Tony Ferguson got caught in that fucking heel hook, and I think it was Benil Dariush. He was like, oh yeah, I definitely heard it crack. He's like, all of his ligaments are torn. He was like, I don't know why or how he didn't tap. And it's just like, I could send you all this shit, but I don't want to because it's disgusting. Because I record it. I'm like, I gotta save it.
Dude, I hope Tony Ferguson and Tyron Woodley have a great career in Bellator. They're gonna be champions over there for sure.
Anderson Silva just boxed yesterday.
What?
Yep.
Crazy, man. Like, they need to stop allowing these old dudes to fucking sign these contracts.
But guess who we boxed?
Who?
I don't know if you know him. I don't know him, but I know the name. Julio Cesar Chavez.
I've never seen Julio box, but I know the name.
Yeah, so another old boxer. So, and I think it was like a Legends League. I think maybe Zab Judah or someone set it up. So it's kind of like what Mike Tyson and them did. Like, I don't know how real it was, if it was an exhibition, how many rounds, but yeah, I missed it because I was watching the UFC fights. But yeah, Anderson Silva fought.
Dude, it's a young man's sport. If tennis is so fucking grueling that Rafael Nadal walks away and says, you know what, I gotta listen to my body. When you're 40-something, you shouldn't be boxing. 40-year-olds don't box. 40-year-olds watch boxing and talk about how good they used to be.
Yeah, and then 44-year-olds that are still boxing and still getting knocked down, they're the ones that's gonna have CTE even worse, or I have have a chance of having it worse, I should say.
Yeah, I
The
watched that third.
CTE.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you got it.
I was gonna say I watched that 30 for 30 of Liddell versus Tito. Like you said, it's so good,
Yeah,
but man, so sad. Like seeing them
yeah.
fight when it was like 48 and 43. It's like, no, this is so bad.
And no one wanted to watch it, or no one really cared about it.
Yeah, they say it was like the lowest grossing pay per view ever.
That's so
And it's like,
so.
man,
But somehow, Chuck Liddell, he's still doing good for himself. Do you know Aaron Carter?
Nick Carter's younger brother.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or maybe it's Nick Carter. No, it is. I think it's Aaron. Damn it, I think it's Nick Carter. I don't know. But anyways, he's like 6'1", weighs probably about 190 max, soaking wet. Guess who he just boxed?
Who?
Lamar motherfucking Odom.
See, this
Six
is
foot,
weird, man. I don't like
6'10",
this.
280.
I don't like this, man. It's getting too strange.
Mr. Carter got knocked out, of course. Like, it was such a mismatch.
Basketball players are boxing. YouTube, TikTok, Vine stars are making 20 million boxing against Floyd Mayweather. I don't like this.
And then there was a big Vine, not Vine, there was a big TikTok match between two TikTokers. I'm out of that world, so I don't know who they are, but yeah, it was big.
Yeah, this is nutty.
I like and I I like the stuff like Mayweather and Logan Paul, because that does bring more eyes to the sport, and maybe for some reason it'll bring more attention. People will be like, oh, I wasn't into boxing like I used to be, but I want to start watching it now. But when you have like Lamar Odom fighting the Carter, or TikTokers boxing, it's just like, yes, it's gotten out of hand. You know, Logan Paul actually trains boxing, though he's an asshole. Whatever you want to say about him, he has taken it serious.
Like back in the day, I loved watching Butterbean do his crazy boxing on like MTV. But
Right.
it was novel. Like this is bad. This is a really big, overweight kind of fat guy that can't box, who just goes in there and swings like this. And it's funny to see him get knocked out, or like just barely knock somebody out because he has a.
Hey, don't sleep on Butterbean. He cannot. He was throwing haymakers.
Yeah, like a haymaker they didn't see coming, like just a lucky
he was
shot.
knocking people out though.
But it wasn't due to technique. If you have a 200-pound arm coming at you, like you hope it misses.
He was knocking people.
But what they're doing these days, it resembles too much a original sport, and it's just like it's not a caricature of the sport. It's kind of like a mockery of the sport.
You know what I think it is? I think everything's not for everyone, and what they're doing is definitely for the younger generation. Like, we don't understand it because it's not for us, but definitely for the younger generation.
Man, fuck you. Life keeps reminding me of that. I remember 10 years ago, Wendy read this article, and as best as I can paraphrase the message, it basically said by the time you get into like your mid-30s, going into your 40s, you'll be so set in your ways that you're not going to enjoy new foods, you're not going to enjoy new arts and music, and this and that, and like went down like a rabbit hole and explained why, because your brain's been trained chemically to enjoy these things for so many years. Those chemicals are lessening in your body, blah, blah, blah. So your attachments are to new things are less. And I was like, no, that'll never be me, man. I'm always going to be seeking and learning and growing and knowing new things and liking new things and enjoying the past, present, future, and all its glory and blah, blah, blah. And now sometimes I'm like, man, I like what I like and fuck all this new shit. And I was like, I became that article. Yeah, because
Yeah,
some of the stuff we call music is terrible. Yeah.
Wait, what did you say? You said what
I
about
just
music being terrible?
I just said prayer.
I but but yeah, I've consciously tried to stay away from that. Is that's why I like when it comes to TikTok, yeah, that's where I draw the line. I'm like, yeah, I'm stuck in my ways. I ain't doing no TikTok. But I try to stay up to date with like the newest music, and I understand it, because for 3 or 4 years, when the mumble rap phase came out, I did not understand it one bit. And I was like, this is garbage. All I'm listening to is Dizzy Wright, Tech Nine, and real rappers because this is garbage. And then I just kind of grew out of it. And I remember as I was getting into like the newer shit, JJ's like, yeah, bro, this is garbage. I'm like, no, bro. I understand because I used to think it was garbage too.
I think one thing that's helping me though is the podcast actually. Excuse me. Because we stay seeking, have new people on, or people reach out to us, and then we research who they are so we can have an intelligent conversation with them. So I think this is helping me seek newness in my musical palette, and it just kind of translates to, oh, when I go to a restaurant, let's not get the same dish I've gotten for the past 5 years. Let's try something different, or hey, let's go to this new place that I've never been to. Let's check out this new museum that I've never heard of.
Yeah, because you found, RDO, Q-Tip Bandits, T-Dub, and those are three artists right there I just named that I probably never would have listened to because it never would have crossed my radar. But listening to them and the Q-Tip Bandits, if I would have heard them, I would be like, oh, damn, they're good. I might have to look them up. But that they're a music genre that I would never actually search for. So
Yeah, for sure. Like even me finding them and like really loving their music is all because of the podcast. Like I don't listen to that type of music on the regular, and I think I found them maybe through Hannah Ruth or Wild Hum's channel because she was based out of that area at the same during the same time that they came up. So, but yeah, man, like listening to different genres and stuff too. Like I haven't listened to um like that type of hardcore like metalcore in a while, but just got done interviewing a band from Augusta, Georgia, Backslide. Really good hardcore metalcore. I don't listen to rap that much, and we've had several rappers on here. It's like, damn, they can really spit.
and that's my thing is I don't listen to metal or hardcore, but when I hear a good metal or hardcore band, it has to be really good for me to like. And when I say really good, it's subjective, of course, but it just has to get me moving. And really, there's not that many of them that do it. Backslide's one of them. Now, that's recent. Spite, they're another one. But there's very few and far between metal bands that I really like and that I'll listen to just to listen to.
I wonder who they were staring at. If it was me or if it was you.
You said what?
I wonder who the viewers will be staring at in that
It
awkward
was me
silence. Me or you?
because I said something. I was waiting for you to say something. I was gonna say something. I was like, no, I'm just gonna be quiet. And then yeah.
No, I'm about to jump off the in just a little bit. Got some bread I'm about to make. Gonna be making some
Man, that
French
bread you made that one,
baguettes.
huh?
So gonna be making some French baguettes tonight.
I don't know what that is, but I know that bread you made that one time was gangster.
Oh yeah, the olive loaf, focaccia.
Oh man, I don't remember what it looked or tasted like, but I remember it was good.
Yeah, next time you come this way, I can make some again.
Oh yeah,
Real.
fresh. It
But
was
if you want to
skinny,
learn,
wasn't it?
yeah, it was thin. It's a flatbread.
Yeah, thin crust.
But yeah, if you ever want to learn how to make bread, it's super easy. It's basically 4 ingredients, and then you just play with those and manipulate them and add some in sometimes. But it's real easy.
You don't eat pickles.
What?
What was you gonna say?
Flour, salt, yeast, and water. That's the basics.
I don't even know what yeast looks like. I know it rises.
It does.
You don't eat pickles, do you?
Only fried pickles.
I'm about to make my first pickles. Super fucking simple. I didn't if I knew it was that simple, I would have been doing it, but it's just cucumbers, of course, and garlic, and like 2 or 3 other ingredients. I don't know
Yeah,
why my mind is blank.
I can't remember the name of the comedian, but he had a Netflix special, and he was talking about kissing somebody with a bad flavor on their mouth, and he was with this woman one time, his partner, and she ordered something, and he's like, "No pickles. You can't have pickles." And she's like, "Why can't I have pickles?" He's like, "You don't like it when it tastes like pot. I hate it when you taste like pickles."
That's hilarious. That reminds me, mom hated the smell of cigarettes, but she liked it after Ed would smoke a cigarette and kiss him. And I always thought that was so weird. And then I remember kissing my first my first girlfriend that smoked cigarettes, and I didn't smoke, and it was like I didn't like the smell of them either, but the taste of like the kiss, it should be disgusting, but I don't know, I kind of like.
Yeah, I'll never experience that, and it just sounds gross because I don't even like the taste of it on my mouth.
You can't say you'll never experience. What if Wendy wants to take a drag of a cigarette and you forget and you kiss her? You're like, oh shit, this actually tastes kind of good.
You even talking about Wendy smoking cigarettes is hilarious.
Nah, it would be weird, but it's possible.
I
Anything's
guess
possible.
I guess anything is possible, but that's a different alternative universe where we walk on our heads and our feet are straight up. Yeah, because the Wendy I know will never smoke a cigarette.
Never say never. You ever listen to that band?
No. And have you watched a Never Ending Story yet?
I haven't watched anything.
You ain't been watching TV?
The only TV I watch is sports. I mean, I just asked to borrow your Netflix so I can watch Bo Burnham. Like, I don't have. If I have something, it's because of someone. I have Hulu because of a friend, and I don't watch it. Speaking of Hulu, really good documentary on there. Someone you don't care about, but I think you would find interesting is a 6ix9ine documentary.
Motherfucker, you don't know who I have feelings for.
Yeah, you fucks with 6ix9ine? Because if you do, we can't talk anymore.
No, I ain't never listened to it. I take that back. I listened to one song. That song he released right after he got out of prison. I was seeing a lot of reaction videos to it. And everybody was like complaining, obviously. So I was like, let me go check it out. I was like, this is not my style of music. Even if he hadn't done what he had done, like just the music alone, I don't like it.
I like his first album, and if you didn't like that song, you're not gonna like any of his songs because all of his songs have the same vibe. And it's like I like this first album, and even if the snitching thing would have never happened, and he would have came out with like 2 or 3 other albums, it eventually is gonna get old because it's like, all right, you gotta switch it up at some point. It's like Blueface. You know who Blueface is?
Never heard the name.
He raps super off beat, but it's on purpose. And at first, when he came out, it's like, oh my God, this dude is offbeat, but he's saying some real shit. And then it was the same old shit. And it's like, all right, people got bored. And then he just came out with a song that is completely different. He's almost like singing with auto tune. And it's like, you got to switch it up. You know, if you come out and you're pigeonholed, you got to switch it up at some point. You don't have a lot to say today, eh?
You're
You know what I've been
ridiculous.
thinking? I've been thinking about getting black contacts, but I'm afraid of them fucking my eye up from having to take them in and put them out.
Taking them in and putting them out. You mean putting them in and taking them out?
But I said it backwards, didn't
You said taking them in and putting them out. I'm like, that doesn't sound right.
I? Putting them in and taking them out.
Take them in and putting them out. That's
On this segment of Nate fucking up the English dictionary.
They also need that short. I don't know who the basketball player was, but he was talking about when he was guarding Kobe in the Madison Square Garden and what that experience was.
I feel like you did, but tell me again.
Yes, I don't remember who this was, so I don't know if knowing his name would add context. But anyways, He's like, yeah, man, I have been guarding Kobe, and I had stolen on him a few times, taken the rock and dunked on him, and he's like, I was having a really good game, and he's like, we had just started the fourth quarter, and we were up. And Kobe walks over to me, and he's like, hey, man, you had a real good game. And he's like, yeah, but Kobe, we got fourth quarter. He's like, yeah, man, you had a good game. And I was like, what did he mean by that? He's like, and then, dude, he went off. He was doing all this crazy shit, taking it down low, acting like he was going to charge a goal, kicking it back out, them scoring, throwing it off the backboard, jumping up, catching it, doing crazy shit with it. And it's like, bruh, he went crazy. He's like, and we couldn't keep up with him.
And from what I do remember, and from what I remember you telling me the story, if I remember correctly, is it was a young player, and like one of the older players on his team was like, hey, don't do that to Kobe again.
I didn't hear that part. It might be a different interview.
Yeah, like you don't piss off Kobe or something like that.
Yeah,
or maybe I'm getting mixed up because there was a similar story like that with Michael Jordan. So I think I might have got mixed up where it's like don't piss Michael off.
Right.
Now I've been hearing this recently as I've been watching the playoffs. Is I've heard it 2 or 3 times. Kobe had a key to the gym to every city, and he would get to that city at like 5 a.m. before anyone else, open up the gym and just shoot for hours. And it's like, bruh, that's like how Alex and Ryan from Backslide, how they just practice all the time and they're fucking addicted to their craft. That's Kobe. Was Kobe, rest in peace.
Yeah, and pretty much anybody that gets successful by their own talents. So, I mean, you gotta sacrifice something that's the only way you have the time to do it that long.
Why are you frozen?
Oh, did I freeze?
Yep.
Whoa.
That's why I was confused. I was like, oh, he's not talking again. I was like, oh no, he's frozen. Because he's talking, but he ain't moved.
That's weird, bro. My phone died, but it was plugged in.
Oh, down.
Yeah.
That's strange. Fuck that phone.
Fuck that phone.
Fuck that phone.
Fuck that phone. Fuck that phone.
Oh, there you
go. I can't hear. Oh, here we go. Got that laptop. What's up, y'all? I'm about to bounce off here anyways, man. I'm about to go make them baguettes.
You were asleep last night, wasn't you? You didn't watch the fights?
Yeah, I fell asleep at 6:30 yesterday.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I was tired. But I wasn't mad at it.
You missed a broken arm again, or whatever is wrong with it. Ligaments torn. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a fight night, so I'll probably watch it on ESPN Plus at some point. They usually keep them on there for a week or 2.
I've been watching The Ultimate Fighter.
Oh, okay. Never got into it. I don't like fake drama, and I don't like reality TV shows.
Yeah, I don't know how fake the drama is, but I know that's definitely polished up and okay. Let's just get angry. It's like, okay, yeah, that's cool. But I like watching the fights. And I do kind of like hearing the background of the fighters and stuff, but yeah, the drama, it's not like I'm on the edge of my seat, like, oh man, is this really popping off right now?
For sure.
I knew that Stay Black, Don't Be Whack was gonna be hard. I don't know how we're gonna put this in here.
Hey man, I did it anyways. I was like, I don't know if they're gonna hear it, but y'all stay in black today.
Yeah, and then I let them finish talking and saying thank you. And I was like, oh yeah, and don't be whack.
And same for you, Nate. Hope
right,
you
man,
stay black and don't be whack.
All right, we ain't gonna do any jingles or anything. We do need to come up with a killer ass intro. Just imagine Bruce Buffer saying,
"Are you ready to rumble?"
That's Michael.
I think that was unrecorded.
It is. That's Michael Buffer.
Why is it? I hate when touchscreens don't work.